Where's the hockey guy? Where's the review for the Islanders Bruins game? Well, all right. So what happened is I went upstairs to discuss this and also the Leafs, the craziness from tonight. And we had some leftover vegetables, and so I took a vegetable out to our new bunny rabbits, and then realized the enclosure wasn't completely locked because one of the bunny rabbits got out. So we had to find said bunny rabbit. Get it? We did. The bunny's okay. Pickle. He's a bit of a handful. He also tried to bite me because he didn't want to go back into house. He wanted to just be free and run all around the yard and into every other yard, and that was fun. So if you've ever tried to catch a bunny rabbit, it's yeah. All right. So with apologies, but that backed me up probably 15 minutes. So I'm just saying because I'm sure there will be somebody somewhere that I mean people watch this, right? No. Was there anything else on tonight? Oh, yeah. So after game one, I kept reading about how the Islanders are against a real team now, and the Bruins aren't the Penguins, and the Islanders now they're going to get crushed, and all of this other silliness. The Islanders didn't get crushed out of the playoffs last year. They gave Tampa one heck of a run, and tonight they showed Boston they're not going to go away. This is not a team that's just going to fall off. This is a team that absolutely could, win this series. So it ended up being a pretty dramatic game. I will say this. Whoever decided to play shipping up to Boston before this game was over in that arena, I was mad. I heard that and I'm like, oh, come on, that's my victory song. You can't play that during the game. Oh, they're going to lose, aren't they? So fourth line's face off to start the game for Varlamov in net for the Islanders. And this is where Barry Trotz shines. He knows when to switch goaltenders. Because you could look at the first game and say, well, it wasn't Sorokin's fault. No, but Varlamov was fantastic tonight. Coyle scores early from Ritchie and Coleman. 2:38. First shot goes in the net. So Bruins fans explode. The whole building goes crazy. Bruins are up 1-0, right? Marchand then nearly adds one right after. Bruins are just doing a lot of the same things they did in the first game here. Rask then saves an Eberle chance. Good shift for Barzal. The Barzal line was the only line that showed up in the first period for the Islanders. It was the only line that did anything offensively. Bruins' bottom six was throwing hits. The shots were 2-1 for the Bruins at 5 minutes. Pelech had a shot that was saved as the Islanders press. The Bruins get a power play. Zone time for that power play? Sure. Shots? No. Not really. The Islanders were blocking shots well. Looking at these shot blocks after this game, they feel kind of low. I honestly thought both teams blocked more than what the NHL gave them credit for. So the Islanders make that kill. DeBrusk then can't bury one. Balmeri gets shaken up. He stays in the game, and he's key in this game, too. Hall had a chance that was stopped. Varlamov stopped a Marchand chance as the play starts to favor Boston. The ice is tilting. It's going in the Bruins' favor, but this is where Varlamov really starts to show why he's so good in the playoffs. Rask was sharp on an Eberle shot, but he was not overly busy. So in that first period, almost every dangerous chance that was gotten was by Eberle for the Islanders. And Eberle, does he even get a point tonight? No, he doesn't get a point tonight. That's criminal, unless they change one of these goals. But that's criminal. He was fantastic in this game, as was Barzal. Bounce back for Varlamov after that first goal. Things get kind of sloppy with 5:46 left, but no penalties out of it. I thought for sure there'd be some penalties out of that slap fight, but nothing. Eberle gets another chance. The Islanders then press with 4.5 minutes left. Rask saves it, covers it up. The Barzal line was getting all of the Islanders' offense, as I said. Varlamov stops a Riley chance off the face-off. Barzal and Komarov then had chances turned aside in the final 2 minutes. So you go to the second period, Boston's up 1-0. They've got to feel pretty good about themselves. They're out shooting the Islanders badly. This looks a lot like game one. And the shots were heavily favoring them as well as early in the second period. At 2:33, there's some unhappy pushy going on out there. Rask was sharp again as Barzal's line was, again, they're just driving the play over and over and over. And it started to have an effect. At least that's part of what started to have the effect. Their work ethic started to spill over to the other lines for the New York Islanders. And they have some very good depth. Carlo's defense stifles Nelson. The Islanders' play was picking up. The fourth line then pinned down the Bruins. Lots of hits for both teams at this stage of the game. Pulock blocks a certain goal from Pasternak. who then takes a goalie interference penalty. So, where the Bruins, it looked like we're going to make it 2-0, it stays 1-0, and Pasternak's in the box. So what do the Islanders do? They show just how good they are at doing this. Bailey gets a power play goal from Palmieri and Nelson at 6:52. The Islanders are one of the best teams at making the most out of almost nothing in the NHL. Where you feel, and they've done it all year, they've done it the whole regular season too, where it looks like they're being outplayed, and it looks like they're just pinned down and they're being outshot, and yet somehow the game is tied. Somehow they're in this. And so at this stage where it's 1-1, you get that same feeling. But the momentum shifted. The Islanders got some definite confidence from that goal. They were pressing for the lead. Pajot's line then picks it up. They're pressuring. The Bruins were on their heels. Pulock defends a Marchand drive. Rask denies Komarov as Barzal, his line buzzed again. Who thought that Komarov was going to be like a huge, spark plug on the wing for Barzal? Man, the team that used to have Komarov must miss a guy like that. No ozone time for the Bruins, and then Palmieri scores from Leddy at 11 minutes. So Palmieri, a goal and an assist in this game. I do like it that at the trade deadline, I say it. I really like the Palmieri pickup for the Islanders, and tonight, once again, he shows that in the playoffs, I know in the regular season it was a disaster, but in the playoffs, it's been pretty good for the Islanders. Great period for the Islanders with that 2-1 goal. The Bruins defense looked kind of lost. Like they were crossed up, and you could see that they were kind of shaken, like what's going on here. Ritchie and Martin then got kind of punchy, so we end up with a 4-on-4 situation. It wasn't enough for a fight. It's one of those weird things in hockey, isn't it? You see guys like punch each other, and again, this comes to the new fan thing. Is that a fight? No, they didn't punch each other enough for it to be a fight. It's roughing, it's not punching enough. Hall then tries to put one home. Bailey with the turnover. Pastrnak fires one wide. That was a juicy turnover to Pastrnak, and the Islanders were very fortunate that Pastrnak didn't hit the net there. Barzal then has a breakaway. He fires that wide. Pastrnak the other way. Chance was denied. This was all in the same play. This was back and forth, and I'm thinking, okay, so trapping hockey is not a thing tonight. Varlamov then made some saves minus a stick. Krejci was robbed in close. There was some face punchy going on most of the whistles. And gloves on, and it's just a little thing. Just a little, hey, keep your head up. Lazar and Eberle, Komarov and Carlo, they're unfriendly. They paired off. Not much happened there. Teams get kind of squawky, but this is where the referee does what referees do. You get enough of this going on, the referee will take one. So instead of taking two, he takes one, and so it's a power play for the Islanders. Guess what the Islanders' power play does? It scores again. It's Jean-Gabriel Pajot from Beauvillier and Barzal at 17:21. So they score on the power play twice in the second period. They take a 3-1 lead, quiet that Boston crowd down substantially, and then Cizikas tried to make it 4-1 before the period was out. So we go to the third period, and that momentum had absolutely swung in the favor of the Islanders. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 to start. Rask stops an early shot for Nelson. The Islanders press. The Bruins were pinned down a lot at this period of the game. Wagner had a chance to deflect into the corner. The Islanders were doing what they did to the Penguins at this stage. That's all I could think was, this feels like the Penguins series. It feels like the same thing. And if you have a team that works as hard and you have four lines rolling like the Islanders can do, you can do this to any team in the league. It's harder against some teams than it is for others, obviously, but you can do it. So Varlamov denies Pastrnak. Carlo was then denied as well. The Islanders get a fast break. Riley defended on that. Riley's had a really good playoff. I really hope the Bruins keep him next year. Krejci partially fans on one, and then ref you suck chance break out, which I'm sure really hurt his feelings, but he didn't call a penalty as a result. Varlamov then robbed Grzelcyk, and then it's Bergeron. Bergeron from Marchand and Pastrnak at 10:34. And this was a line that had been mostly controlled to this stage of the game by the Islanders. I say mostly because there's only so much you can do. I mean, Pastrnak was getting some chances and missing them wide. You're not going to shut him down for the whole game entirely. The Bruins then pressed for the tie. Mayfield prevented a potential tying goal. More pressure from the Bruins. With 5:21 left, too many Islanders on the ice. The Bruins get the power play, and they score on it. It's Marchand from McAvoy at 15:06. It is a tie game, and it was a perfect shot from Marchand, who continues to be the guy who gets those goals when the Bruins desperately need him. So the Islanders call a timeout. Smart move. Smart move by Barry Trotz. We'll call a timeout because that was, while these goals were 4.5 minutes apart, that was back-to-back shots. So you want to just, okay, we're going to call timeout. We're going to cool this down a little bit because things look kind of ugly. The Islanders, after that timeout with 4:10 left, Riley takes a penalty. So the Islanders end up with a power play. Riley was caught playing with a broken stick. And it's one of those, I understand how it can happen. It's heat of the moment. Your stick breaks and then you kind of, I played with it. Crap. So that's kind of what happens there. And so, yeah, Islanders, who were 2 for 2. The thing is, Rask twice stops Beauvillier, and then with a goal line stand from Tuukka Rask, we end up going to overtime, that power play being killed off. In the overtime, Lauzon blocks a Bailey shot during heavy Islanders pressure that first couple of minutes. They were just pinning the Bruins down and just showing how much they realized what was on the line tonight. Pastrnak hits the side of the net. His next drive then goes wide. Krejci had a chance to tip wide. Pulock had some shot blocking going on there too. I mentioned before the series, Pulock and Pelech are huge for the Islanders' blue line. They're one of the best shutdown duos in the league. And I think tonight kind of showed that as well. Pulock, got to be bruised up. Rask then with a turnover. Don't do that. He handed it off to Bailey. So the Islanders get a press out of that. Eberle had a chance to go wide. Barzal was denied. Varlamov then the other way. He robs Krejci. Palmieri had a tip that was stopped by Rask. Bergeron blocks a shot from Green. Varlamov then caught one from DeBrusk. Pulock, heroic versus the Bergeron line. Like, just the shot blocks and just the checking and everything that Pulock was doing out there was great. And then Lauzon with a turnover. Goes off a skate, goes to Cizikas. Cizikas gets a breakaway, and at 14:48 of the overtime period, the Islanders really silenced that Bruins crowd. And that was a few minutes after shipping up to Boston played in that arena. Don't play my victory song before the game's over. Don't do that. I understand it may not be their victory song, but it is for... Don't do that. Because I was tapping my foot and I'm like, oh, they're going to lose. And then they did. So, 4-3 is the final in favor of the Islanders. This series is tied at 1. It's headed to Nassau, where the crowd's going to be absolutely bonkers. I love this series. I just have to say I love this series. It's going to be hard for me not to cheer for whoever wins this series, meaning that even if the Islanders knock out the Bruins, it'd be hard for me not to be pulling for the Islanders in the next round. I do like the underdog story, and I do like the way that they employ this 4-line role and their depth and defense and everything. The shots in this heavily favor Boston in the first, 15-6, but the Islanders come back from that. They outshot the Bruins 11-10 in the first, or 11-10 in the second, 13-11 in the third, and in the overtime, both teams had 6 shots. Final shots 42-39 for Boston. Power plays, the Islanders go 2 for 3. Bruins go 1 for 2. Hits 48-47 for the Islanders. Heavy hitting game. Block shots 19-13 for the Islanders. Varlamov looked great, 39 saves on 42 shots, and Rask 35 saves on 39 shots. He had some very big key saves, and I really don't know what he could have done on that Cizikas shot. It was a turnover, it was a breakaway, and it's in the net. So there you go. We have a series. Let me know your thoughts regarding this game in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.